We were not taught that money was abundance. I didn't think money could be easily made. I thought you either has to be born with money or be genius.
So if you belong to a family who says, money's hard to earn, only doctors can make money or white people can make money, then you will most likely, not always, will have that mindset.
Baby, hop in the Lamborghini. I'm needy, only I'm needy. Baby, hop in the Lamborghini. Left for a minute, I did not sweat it. Look at that cash I'm spending. There it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stroke of Success podcast. It's your favorite host, KB. So happy New Year, first of all. It's been a special journey so far with you guys. We went from 0 subscribers to now 8,000, and this couldn't happen without you. So sincere thank you, gratitude from me, from my team to my audience. And second point to point out, I have a co-host today making her return. My baby mama, as they say in the streets, my business partner, my life partner, started a new venture called Noor Med Spa in Lake Nona, Florida. You can find us at thenoormedspa.com in IG as well, Facebook and Instagram as well. So introducing Saima, Dr. Saima Rafiq. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, second time around?
Second time around, yeah. I am definitely more comfortable this time.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It was the first time I was a little nervous.
But. You did great. I got a lot of feedback last time for you, and they're like, man, you should put your wife, you should leave the podcast, give it to your wife. Like everything else, everyone loves you more. So it's okay. Anyways, let's go back for why we're here today. Today's guests are special, and special in multiple ways. Maybe you want to jump in. How'd you get to know, before you say the name, how'd you get to know the individual in front of you?
We met at a dinner party. I want to say it was like 2 years ago, or maybe something like that. Or it was not last year. It was the year before.
No, it was definitely the year before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about 2 years ago, we just started talking. It was very natural, just talking about family, your name. You told me a little bit about back history of your nickname. We have a mutual friend who's very loving and so sweet. And I just gravitated towards you. And we started following each other on Insta. You know, I know that you were, a community leader. I know that you were in the community with other women. And I'm always trying to find other women like that in the community because it's something that I find good in my friends. It's somebody like I want to emulate to be. So that's how we connected.
And then there was an event you went to, and then you came back home. She goes, man, you have to meet these people.
Yeah.
She's like, you have to connect with them.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we were not able to connect.
Yeah.
Until recently.
It took some time.
I think the first time we have met was at the fundraiser.
No, it was the day after.
Oh, okay.
It was the after.
It was at our mutual friend's party.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday
party.
Mm-hmm.
And we reconnected on the dance floor. And it was just a selfie. And I was...
We were the only two guys on the dance floor.
Yes, you're right about that. So without further ado, today's guests are the following. The individual started Pay Concept about 11 years ago. From there, they started an app called Tuesday. And from there, Defy to Be. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Pay Concept. And Defy to Be and Tuesday are both external verticals of Pay Concept, but they're all related to fintech industry and social good.
Okay, cool. So we'll jump in that in a second. So in front of me right here, I have Abdullah Tharoo.
Yes.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
My friend. It's been in the works for a long time. It's been a long time. I pitched it to him on the dance floor, both of them, like, guys, I have a podcast. I need you on it. They're like, yeah, get out of the way. Anyways.
When you find the right guest, you're like, you're going to be on it.
Yes,
you're
right.
He didn't wait.
I didn't wait. Remember that?
Wait, yes.
I went for the beeline. I'm like, nope, this is my guy and my couple and his beautiful wife, Mumtaz. You go as Taz.
Yeah.
Tharoo. Welcome. Show.
Thank you.
Thank you for jumping on here, guys. It means a lot to me. Y'all are busy, busy. And for you to find time to do this for us, for both of us, it means the world to us. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of gratitude for you guys both. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, please. Let's talk about how long have you been scheduling this thing for, Mr. Tharoo?
Let's not call me Mister, because then I have to look around behind my shoulder to see if you're talking to my dad. Because
Senior.
my dad and I have the same first name. Coincidentally, my mom and my wife have the same name as well.
Wow.
Oh my
So
God.
that's right. So
Interesting.
When you call around our house or when you meet us you better make sure you address, confirm,
Which
point
one you're
out
speaking.
which Abdullah
Yes.
and which Mumtaz you're addressing.
Yes.
No, this has been going on. You and I met at the
December
at the Christmas party,
It
right?
was January. It's been a month
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, it's been a month ago.
Seems
but
longer.
You're very good at what you do. You've been persistent. There are times I do sit on podcast, but it was great. Your topic was great. You wanted me and Taz to join, and I couldn't miss that opportunity at all
No,
because,
I love it.
and I think you'll learn more why.
Yes, we will in a second. Yes, and Taz, thank you. I know you and my wife connected really well, and she has nothing but amazing things to say about you. The reason why we both really wanted to have you here and have my wife here too is we are entrepreneurs now. As you both know, we started a company, a business recently. We have young kids. And we have our day jobs also, and we are juggling so much. And sometimes I feel, I want to speak for her, I feel that there's not many people in our community, in our Desi community, our Indian, Pakistani community, or Bangladeshi, that are doing that much. So when you see some, like, oh, perfect. Let me pick
Or
their
doing
brain.
it together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if it is, it's usually, in our
man.
culture, it's the man kind of going out and bringing home, they say the bacon, but coming and the
Halal
wife is
bacon.
the caretaker and she's a homemaker and she's nurturing her children. But when you see the couple doing it together collectively and they're both, kind of encouraging each other to go to their, their highest potential, then it's like a team, and they're both rooting for each other. So we're always like on the lookout, finding those people.
And you guys fit the criteria perfectly, but you're here in Central Florida, you're Orlando. So let's start with you, my friend. I read your bio, very interesting background. Where were you born?
I was born in Pakistan,
What part?
Karachi.
Okay.
Yes, I was there till around age of somewhere around after 12, 13. I don't have much of a recollection about my younger life for some reason, but I moved here when I was young. My parents were still back home, and my uncle used to live in Louisiana. And so we came here to visit Disney World one year. And the next thing I know about when it was time to leave, I was asked to stay back here and continue going to high school here. And the rest is story. I've only been to Pakistan twice since I've been here, maybe 3 times. But yeah, I think all that I remember about my childhood, most of it has all started here in a little town at that time in Louisiana called Monroe. That's where I was. That's where I grew up,
Interesting.
in the bayous.
You came in teenage years.
I did.
Interesting. How about you, Daz? What's your origin?
So I was also born in Karachi, Pakistan. My family migrated to Vancouver, Canada, when I was a sophomore in high school. So finished my schooling and dived into entrepreneurship. So
Exactly what age were you and when you jumped into entrepreneurship?
So I used to help my father started an institutional linen business, and I used to help him out, in grade 11 when I was about 16 years old, and really full-fledged right at the age of 18, right after high school while I was going to school part-time and also doing business full-time.
So hardworking from a young age.
Yep.
Very similar to my wife. Very similar. Okay, so you're from Canada. Interesting. Would you guys connect, both of you?
You want to go first? You didn't go first.
I'll let Abdullah share his side of the
Oh,
story.
okay.
I think I should go first.
Okay.
She's a soulmate. We know each other for a good 15 years before we got married. We've been married 23 years now.
Wow. Amazing.
To be honest,
22 and a half.
22 and a half.
But you're right there.
Who's counting?
I'm not, right? And I know her since I was a child. I didn't think that this was accomplishable for me. Let's put it this way. I was
Wow.
not exactly...
You felt like she was out of your league?
I was just not a nice kid,
Okay.
right? I mean, I gave her hard time when I was a kid. And but I tell you what, it's the world, the way it plays you. We know each other. My sister and her were best friends. We speak to each other often, spoke to each other often.
Still our best friends.
Still our best
Oh,
friends.
that's amazing.
Your sister and her are still best
Yeah.
friends?
Yes.
That's so sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I left when I was young, 12, 13 years old. She was always been part of the family. Then her parents left to Canada. Anyhow, one fine year, my father turned 50. And Daz decided to come down to Orlando, surprise my dad. My sister was going to school in Columbia and New York. She was down here. So it was a kind of a surprise. And I went to the airport to pick up some guests. And I see this gal coming down the escalator, Orlando International Airport. And that was it.
That's
That was
awesome.
it. I looked and I said, wow, who is this? And she kept coming closer and closer. And I'm thinking, and then of course she was it. That weekend, a lot of people will take credit for that weekend, right? A lot of my uncles will take credit. Everybody
Yeah.
was in town. That look what we made it happen. We've
Yeah.
hooked you up. But yeah, that weekend was just one weekend
That changed your life.
changed my life. That I decided it was time because I never intended to. I didn't think I was going to get married till I turned 50.
Wow.
It was
Why
not
so?
in my cards.
Were you busy with your entrepreneurship or were you just a ladies' man?
Busy. I will let her answer that question.
Okay.
Yes. But life has a lot of twists and turns. I've
do we know?
enjoyed every bit of experience, good, bad, or worse. For some, it would be worse or bad. But I think whatever I have done in past has brought me to this point. And of course, I think meeting Taz at the right time in my life was also credited to where I am today. Because any time sooner would have never worked out.
How old were you when you met her?
Oh, good question. 28, 29?
Younger. 26.
26.
Yeah.
Right around there, 25, 26.
Cool.
Yeah.
25, 26.
Interesting.
Yeah. When you know, right?
When you know.
Yeah.
Well,
That's still pretty young. Now looking back, 25,
Yeah,
26
it
is
is.
like,
Okay, interesting. So I'm a big believer. I believe. I've done a lot of research on self-development. They say your personality develops when you're like from 0 to 7. Your belief systems are forming at that time. So if you belong to a family who says, "Oh, money's hard to earn. Money only doctors can make money, or white people can make money," and you're brown, then you will most likely, not always, will have that mentality, that mindset. How was your upbringing in that sense? Were you gung-ho family, go get what you want to get, you can do anything you want? And I'm going to come to your same question.
wow, you should have been a psychiatrist. I didn't know that it was that age. As I told you, I have, honestly, I remember my childhood, but it's very vague for me. My parents are great. My dad accomplished quite a bit when he was very young, more than anyone I know. But I believe that it was always, we were not taught that money was abundance. I didn't learn that till maybe about 10, 20 years ago. I didn't think money was in abundance. I didn't think money could be easily made. I thought you either has to be born with money or be genius or be somebody, right? And everybody who has money is an exception. Either they did something wrong to get where they are.
Or sold his soul to the
or-
devil.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's one of the comments one I hear all the time.
Yeah.
that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's how it was. That's what I thought. Maybe that wasn't my parents' intention. But even when I left home at such a young age, money, it was always told that money is difficult. Spend that dollar carefully.
Yeah.
There you go.
I also think there's a cultural implication to this because we're all of Pakistan origin, and Pakistan is a third world country, right? We see a lot of poverty there. So the people there who have wealth are usually it's generational, it's family money, and to create new wealth. Whereas in America, most millionaires are first generation, right? They create their own wealth here. That's a very uncommon concept in Pakistan. So it's like if you have wealth, you must spend it wisely, keep it there, and pass it on to your generations. But if you don't have it, you're probably never going to have it. It's just not going to happen for you. So I think there's very cultural, because we were born here, but those are the same values we were instilled in because we grew up in those homes, you know, and that's the same as like you have to work really, really hard for your money. And if you ever had money, you have to
hold on tight.
You have to hold on to it.
Hold on tight.
It's
Save
not
it.
like, you know, it's abundance is going to come to you. You're going to attract it. No, that was, you know, foreign.
And if you
That was foreign.
It's foreign. It's foreign. How about you, Dot? Go back in your forming years. How was money concept in your household?
I guess we must be the exception. So.
Okay. It always is.
So my father was a self-made millionaire, largest steel importer from Europe into Pakistan.
Wow.
And he actually, at the peak of his career, where he was neck to neck with Steel Pakistan, he decided to move to Vancouver for a better future for me and my 4 other siblings. I was raised in an environment that money is in abundance. And in fact, when you're blessed with it, you should share with the, you know, less fortunate, because you give them that avenue to make money themselves then. So I guess I grew up with that upbringing. So I was like, my father, I had 2 older sisters, never did any differentiating between whether it's a boy or a girl. Mm-hmm. He was probably my number 1 hero and a mentor, actually, to where I am, where, you know, being a founder comes, I think, a lot from him.
Wow.
And anything like we do or I've done in business-wise, there has to be a percentage that goes back to the charity, to people
That's
who do
amazing.
good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's not only monetary, but also giving your time and knowledge or your expertise. So kind of, you know, rub that off on our kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
it's good
amazing.
to have a great life partner who kind of believes in similar, you know,
Values,
values as well.
principles.
So,
And you know, when I say that, do know that charity has been part of my great-grandfather, my father. There was never a question of not helping,
Yeah.
right? There's never been a question. We've been taught to do this.
Of course. Yeah.
But as far as, you know, everything else goes, my father was very successful. He had some, you know, he had to restart his life a couple of times due to different regime changes, right? He lived in Libya for some while. Mm-hmm. He has done business with China, Middle East when he was age of 20s, and he used to travel out to those countries. And I think with time, certain lessons are such that you don't forget, and somehow or another they rub down. But he was never a man that made us feel that we could not do this or we could not do that. But surely I think there's 2 different, and I'm not a psychiatrist either, but looking back, you know, they're truly 2 different things. Of thinking in abundance is something inside us and somebody telling us to be careful. I think abundance was never a thought before. It was all practical. What you see is what you have.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
I think both of us had amazing heroes, right? Who came probably at the peak of their age, migrated whether to U.S. or Canada, and started businesses from scratch rather than just buying dry cleaners or just a regular going business.
Convenience store, typical.
Yeah. Really starting from scratch.
Sure.
It's not easy, whether it be a jewelry store or, export business.
Sure.
Definitely.
Going away to a Middle Eastern country at age of 22, learning Arabic and
Yeah.
Can't even
supporting the whole
imagine.
family.
Yeah.
I can imagine. They say that generations are changing. Like we have gone soft. Oh, I agree to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I have cousins, I have nephews, and they can't cross the street without having this breaking a sweat, right?
And then, back in the day, like it would be normal for you to leave like another country, learn another language, and
Get
support
married,
yourself,
support
and then
your-
send money back home too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a very normal concept where
That's right.
a lot of family members, including my father, he came here and he was supporting his family back home for years.
And never complain about it.
That was just an obligation they just had to do, and they did it very willingly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What was your first entrepreneurship venture?
Age of 16.
Young. Were you driving that time? Yeah, you drive at 16, right?
Well, back home, I drove when I was 10.
Okay. Back home, Karachi.
My aunt was in town. She was
Well,
telling my 11-year-old son that your dad was riding a Knight Rider before Knight Rider was out.
I love it.
So I was
probably
blessed.
impressed,
I've
huh?
enjoyed
Yeah.
life. But my first venture was age of 16 when
Okay.
I started the jewelry business. The jewelry kiosks in the middle of the mall that you see now, that's 10 by 10. We started that back in late 80s. And I used to travel up and down I-20, every little town that there was a mall. We would set those things up, and I would travel back and forth on weekends or on holidays. And as I said, money wasn't easy. I mean, it was not. And you would, that's what I did. That was my first venture on my own. And also that gave me my identity in a place where I was alone or where no other person was like me, right? It gave me a power. It gave me something
Like in your
to
age
stand
group?
on.
You felt like in your
No,
age group?
just I think in the whole community, right? I grew up in Monroe, Louisiana, down in the bayous. The people who were my color were, I do remember one or two doctors and accountants, but the rest were all just,
course, yeah.
convenience stores and this
Yeah.
and that, or if any, right? I grew up going to church. That's what I did. Catholic church, Baptist church. I love those places. Sunday meals are really good, right? But I think getting started at that early age helped me stay in my mind, keep me away from thoughts of whatever was going around me. And my journey started well, and all that brings me to where I am today.
That's insane. 16, jewelry business. Daz, how about you? What was your foot in the door for entrepreneurship?
So I joined my father's business, who started as an institutional linen company because the office was in the West Coast, and hospitality, tourism is a peak industry. When I joined, I wanted to diversify the market where it wasn't so competitive, like finding a niche. So actually ended up finding promotional product industry, this $1 billion advertising specialty industry, right? So what my father was bringing as a towel to sell in a salon to a salon wholesaler, or selling it, at the hotels. I would putting a grommet machine now and on it and creating a whole industry and selling as a golf towel. A bath towel was now being sold as a beach towel. So this whole access to an industry, which was amazing. It kind of came out from my creative side, right? So I enjoyed that part, and eventually ended up opening a Toronto branch in Eastern Canada with my brother as well once he joined the business. So we then ended up expanding and having East Coast and West Coast branches.
So when you started, how big or small was the company as far as employee size, revenue size, if you can roundabout?
Under 5.
Okay. 5
So
employees.
3,
Okay.
and then I was the number 4 employee. And then when I did have an exit, after, of course, I moved to Orlando, the company was more than 50 employees. So we had a full-fledged manufacturing plant where we were making goods in North America.
So you were manufacturing your own linens.
Yes.
And then selling them and
Yes.
branding.
And then we expanded the line into micro fleece products, so making blankets to bed-in scarves. In fact, one of the Planet Fitness, when they sponsor, as you know, on Countdown, we ended up turning around a purple and a yellow mitten within less than 3 weeks and printed over 25,000 pairs. So it's a really A-class facility that we kind of expanded into in Toronto.
And it still is in business very well.
And then my brothers still run it. It's called Field.com, and basically it's a wholesaler manufacturing company in the promotional product industry.
Still there.
It's still there.
How many years it's been up and running for?
So it was established in 1990.
Wow.
So over 30 years now. Yeah.
God bless them.
yeah.
What a story.
Sustainability of a business.
It's so
It
hard.
started out, I think, as of course, it was started from scratch. Right?
Sure.
So it's now an 8-figure business. So
It's amazing.
God bless them.
Yeah.
That's just,
Were you given, sorry, I had a question for
please.
you
All you.
because you said that it was more a creative aspect of you, that you created this promotional side. Were you given that authority, like because you were younger? Was that something that you were kind of like, asked about, or was that something that you had to push for and kind of fight for?
no, it came very natural. And like I mentioned, my boss, who happened to be my father as well, was one of my initial mentors, and who gave that freedom.
Yeah.
So finding those creative markets out there.
Yeah.
Pretty much one thing he always told me is, if you're a number one salesperson, nobody can beat you, right? Like, you can learn numbers and stuff, but like knowing how to sell is an art in itself. So
That's true.
So you learn how to sell.
I don't sell. I just show you that you need it.
There you go. I love that. I was testing you. I was testing you.
Oh, yeah, she's the best now.
Yes.
No, she just will send text messages in the morning and say, that's where you are, that's where you need to be, so get off your ass.
There you go. Wow.
That's my type.
In a polite way.
Right way.
So I've been doing sales for about 20 years, a little bit more than that, and it's interesting. You know, they say some are just natural at it. I disagree. I think that you can learn it. Some people just have a capability just to be a people's person, but that doesn't mean they're really selling. You could be a people pleaser, but to actually convey, persuade, tell a narrative to a person across you and say, hey, think about this and this or this. It could be taught. What do you guys think about that? Can one learn sales?
I think if I had to input in this, something I really am conscious about, and lately especially, is you don't sell. I think I'm very good at it, but I don't sell.
Yeah.
I address the pain points. My selling is ask. Tell me about you. Tell me about this. Tell me why. Tell me why not. And it's so magical that the person you're trying to sell will sell it to themselves, right? Sometimes I go into these meetings and I ask 3 or 4 or 5 questions. I already know it's not going to sell. And I'm not ashamed to sit there and say, I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think
Or a good match. We're not a good match.
It's
maybe.
not a good match.
Sure.
I
You can
don't
walk
think-
away.
You can walk
With
away,
pride.
right? With pride. But let me know if there's anything I can help you with. But I don't think we are a good match for this. But I think selling, and I read these books and I listen to these podcasts, many of them, and it all boils down to is if you can address a pain point, you can sell. It's not your product. It's the pain that somebody else is having right now.
Amazing. Nailed it.
Right?
Good. I agree with you. You're delivering value.
Yes.
The more painful of a problem you can resolve or solve, better word, the more you can earn.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And please be honest, right? Because people can see through me. Sometimes I think when I'm desperate, or I can see through people when they're trying to sell me something. I say, okay, you asked me 5 questions. The 6th question was, bam, but you didn't even get to hear what I was going to say next. Maybe I would have just signed that document myself.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be genuine.
Sure, I agree with you. My life partner and business partner here. I mean, she's medical, right? Physician.
Yeah.
Never sold anything per se, right?
No, we're all about education, right?
Right.
We're always educating our patients, and we're just telling them whatever we can fix for them and how the process is. But it's different. I think medicine has changed a lot. It's become very corporate now, and I don't think there's any selling in medical school. They don't teach any of that. We're here to just serve our patients, treat them, and educate them, into living a better and healthier lifestyle.
But now with the new venture you're getting into, I see you. I'm like astonished. Like, wow, she's able to convey a narrative and address pain points for people without pushing. It's like, wow, man, I'm like you. I read books. She could tell you, I have coaches I hired. I go to seminars. I'm very much in self-development. Self-development was the thing that kind of got me on my feet after my stroke. You want to talk about your journey? Like, how do you feel? And now at your med spa, when people approach you and you approach people.
I feel like creating that bond with your clients and then making sure that they trust you. And that process has to be very genuine. It has to be very natural. And there shouldn't be any thought of like, I'm selling. It should be like, I am educating them and we're creating a trust together. And once they trust you and they believe what you're saying, then that's it. It's already sold. Like that's done, But you have to serve, you have to provide value. That's how
Provide value.
Providing value.
I think number one thing. Okay, so you went from jewelry business. What'd you do after that?
Stayed in the business for a long time, till about 11 and a half, 12 years ago. Right?
Okay. Oh, wow. This is recent. You left.
Yeah, and sometime during that time, we were blessed with an amazing child. Her name is Maya. She was born, correct me if I'm skipping, she was born at 27 weeks? 28 weeks. Well, it felt like it was much less because Daz was in the hospital for a good couple of days. They were trying to get as much time as possible before they have to deliver Maya. But Maya was born, she was born at 1 pound, 14 ounces. And during that time, you know, we were very well settled. I was in the jewelry business. My father was with me. We were living this great life. Everything was always great. And what it allowed me to do was to take off the 110, 20 days that I needed off, because Maya was in the hospital for 110 days exactly, right? And my job, not my job, it wasn't a job. It was, you had to be there, so I would be there as much of a day as possible, but every night next to her.
Yeah.
Daz would be there every day. And so start thinking, you know, great, jewelry business is great, having a family business is great, but it's not so easy to expand a family business.
Or scale.
Or scale it.
Yeah.
What do I do? And I will tell you, I'll share this secret publicly today. While I was at the hospital, I remember reading a Departure magazine by American Express. And on the back cover of the magazine, there was this ad. God, I'm getting emotional. There was this ad from either JW Marriott, Ritz, one of these amazing hotels. And the ad was simply not even showing the hotel. The ad was showing the back of a man sitting on the beach chair on his computer with 2 drinks on his side. Far out in the distance, there are 2 kids sitting on the sand and mom sitting on the sand building a castle, and it's a beautiful day. And that day was the day that I started thinking, how do I get my life? What do I need to do to be able to work from anywhere I want and have a freedom to spend time with my people I love the most, right? How am I able to give my time to the community that I love the most,
Amazing.
right? So I think that was the thinking. Maya's birth was
a light bulb.
there. It was a light bulb.
Sure.
Maya's birth was there. This incident happened. And since that time, the wheels just went on to see, what am I going to be able to do where I am? Or do I really need to reinvent myself and do something that's uncomfortable? That means learning something new after you have a child and you're married.
I know.
And recreate ourselves to attain that life. It's not the richness or the wealth that I'm looking for. It's the times such like these to be sitting amongst friends and not have to worry about picking up a phone.
I agree with you. That's an incredible.
And there's no money, there's no price on that. I feel like
There are no
that's,
price on
that's
that.
priceless.
So that happened to us. Stroke happened. We moved with her parents. She's on maternity leave, and I have no job. I couldn't work. My doctor said you can't go back to work. And we're here with, we're driving with the kids. We're going to the park. We're like, man, and the same thing to me. I'm like, how can I manifest a reality where I don't have to go and check in and out with the boss or a company and spend time raising my kids and spend time with my wife? I started talking about it back then. This is 6 years ago, and we're almost there. Let's go back to you guys for a second. So I like timelines. I like to see what the scenario is. I'm like, I have a dream to become a filmmaker, so I have this visual I play in my mind. Maya's born. Let's go back a few months back. You both are married. How long have you been married for until Maya's birth was happening?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Orlando. You're here in Orlando. You're settled down. Money's good. You guys middle class, upper middle class, right? Things are good.
Blessed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blessed, right?
Blessed.
You said blessed? Okay, blessed.
Yes, blessed.
Okay. With Maya's situation, how was that impactful? I'm sure in multiple ways, but how was it for you guys up front in the beginning with her birth?
I think both of our thoughts and feelings would be different, right? I think I would let Daz take this one first. And then Yeah, then I'll share.
Yeah, it was. It's hard to explain because I did not even know what NICU was. I've heard of ICU. I was literally actually supposed to be on a plane the next day because I just started my third trimester.
Yes.
So I was going to be visiting my parents in Toronto. So, something did not feel right, feeling swollen legs and whatnot. So just went for my checkup again. And just blood pressure was high. So she asked to go, to the hospital. Ended up having preeclampsia. And the next thing you know, have a baby. So I think everything happened so fast that when Maya was born, couldn't really think much about, okay, is there such a thing called postpartum depression? Or is there something, that you go through? Because all you're thinking is that little precious person is going to survive, right? That little baby's going to survive. And of course, that's where my faith kicked in. I knew she was going to be okay. It's just, she was supposed to be in the tummy. She's not in the tummy. So there you go. So I think for me, those were the emotions from the time where she was born.
You say, just to recap what you said you knew she'd be okay. You weren't freaking like, oh my God, OMG.
No, I think for me, so one of my traits, like you talked about self-development.
Yes.
I love doing self-development of myself too.
Okay.
Continuously learning, right? What I can use to my advantage, right? In my personality, because I'm an introvert. So one of my biggest thing was, of course, believe. Positiveness, right? So now, actually, when I reflect back to this, right, kind of tells me why I thought she was going to be okay, right? In my mind, okay, it's my strong faith. But I guess that's also one of my traits.
That's
like
amazing.
You convinced yourself to believe that she's going to be okay.
Yes.
Like
you
she's
could
going to
look
be
at it,
okay.
exactly.
Even though she was 1 pound. You're like, she's going to be okay.
She'll be okay. Probably over the years, you were probably preparing and without even knowing, right? Self-development doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you read books, you see scenarios, some people, you process, say like, oh, okay, that's life. Okay, well, I'm grateful, right? So you were prepared for that, almost.
Yeah, and it's funny that you're bringing it right now from that probably over the years. So one little thing is one of the reasons I actually also joined my father in his business. In my senior year, literally 2 months away from graduation, my father had a heart attack in Canada. So, fast forward, I think all those different life situations that's come, around probably made me the person I am today. And also along the journey, right? Raising a child who was a preemie and not losing hope.
Yeah.
Not losing hope.
Yes.
I don't be sexist, but for a Desi woman to be that strong is so rare. I had a mother, my mom passed away, but single mom, but she was like, I never heard someone sit there and say like that it will be okay so easily. That's strong.
Yeah. It takes a strong woman to feel that way,
How is it for you to be married to a strong woman like that? When I first met her, I knew right away she's not a Desi woman could be two-way. I'm like, just answer.
You're judging all of these.
Hold
I've got some very strong women.
Okay.
No, you're right. Culturally,
in our
right?
circle,
I think culture.
in our
Culturally,
culture,
yeah,
in our circle, even.
Culture.
Jeremy-
Let's keep it to our circle.
Circle.
Yeah.
For all Desi women watching this, please forgive me. Listen, she knows I was raised by my mom and grandmother, so I am pro-woman.
Yeah.
But our circle, women are very dependent, and the man looks here and the woman knows what to do, right? I met you, I'm like, nope, that's not the story with you. And my wife is the same. How is it for you to be married to someone like that? Is it threatening sometimes? It's like, what did I do? Should I marry a housewife? Someone more softer. Someone will say, yes, gee, whatever you want, I'm here for you.
No,
No.
I think she was my escape. She was my escape. She was my, would you say 7 cents? Right? There's no friendship that I make without seeing how she feels about people. She's a very good judge of character. She's also have mastered this talent of, you used this word before, so why don't you help me, of imagining things and things happen.
Visualization.
Yeah.
To visualize.
Right?
Manifestation.
our communication has been open from the day we started. She sacrificed quite a bit for me, for us, not for me, for our family. And I think I wouldn't be here if I wasn't married to her. I don't think I would have made it this far, right? Either I would have been, like some people used to say, I would have been dead by now, or just not sitting here in front of you on this stroke of success. But we never know, right? We never know what our future holds. But I think all the experiences and the people that have come in my life have brought me to this, and especially this one has a big role that she has played to where I am today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very...
We need more men like that.
We need more men like that.
Yeah, that can openly let their wife shine and say, I am where I am because of her, and I feel like a lot of women, they're in support, but I don't hear it much from men. I'm blessed with a great husband too, but I don't feel enough. I don't meet enough secure men that are able to say this out loud securely and say, I
am blessed. I will agree. I'm definitely blessed. Abdullah has always been very supportive, and it's just our values are so much in line, right?
Alignment.
Alignment.
Keyword.
Yes.
For partnerships, leadership, you guys are about leadership, alignment.
And we know our strengths, right? There was a question in here you were going to ask. We know each other's strengths, and we know what she's good at and what I'm not good at. And I think that keeps a lot of the conflict out of the way. I know when to not, argue about something. She knows when to step back or step up her game. There are many things I learned from her, and I think there are many things she has learned from me, and we both truly do credit each other, and she does it often. I think she'll say, wow, I just did this, and it was because what I've seen you do, right?
Wow.
And my talent of listening is truly credited to her, because I was always about me.
As most men are. Yeah. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that today too. Earlier today, fight. I will say
save it for later. For the second half.
For most men,
So was this a journey for you guys to get here, or was it like this from day one? Like
Good question.
We just were in sync and everything is good, or was this like we
Did you build
developed into this?
What do you think?
I
feel it's definitely a journey.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of this in marriages, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Especially with raising children and, with having a preemie, I'm sure that was a very difficult time when you're not focused on each other, but focused on keeping one offspring alive and healthy. So that all, not weakens, but, kind of makes your relationship difficult for that time because there's so much other stressors. How did you guys deal with that?
One thing for sure, right? When I decided that it was time to change careers or time to leave a very lucrative family business behind, Cartier dealerships and tags and Omegas. I mean, great cars and great life. And when decided to leave all that behind and start something new, wouldn't have been able to do it. There were people who were betting that I will be back in 12 months, right? I will be back in 12 months because there's no way I would survive, right? Because that's all I did was jewelry all my life. And all I did was where people waited on me, and that's how it was. So how do I go out there and sell something where I have to wait on people? Ego was huge. My ego, surpassed me. But again, going back to this, the time when I decided to, I walked up to her and I said, I'm not feeling fulfilled. Money is great. It does not give me fulfillment any longer. And I want to change. And she looks at me and she goes, what do you want to do? And I go, this is my vision. And I want to go back and do a business where I can be anywhere in the world and I can still manage it. Right? But remember, those businesses are not easy. Our families have come to this country, they've worked retail or any of those jobs where the day they go to work, that's the same night they put money in their pocket. I'm talking about building something that I might not see it for years. How do you do that? And she was still involved with her family business of some sort. And then she decided it was time. I mean, the baby was young. She went to work full time for 3.5 years. We started our pay concept company together, but she worked full time, be the bread earner, while I was out there building pay concept. And then I don't know how it happened. What was the day when we had sit down and said, you know what, I think it's time where now I can afford you, where you can either come work for me or not. Not for me, I'm sorry. You can come work in your company or not. And of course, I mean, we both are very driven. Her choice was, I'm coming in and I'm going to fix everything that you've left undone. And that was the journey. The first year she joined full time was tough for me because I just did what I did and that was it, right? So, but yeah.
When you say tough, were there moments where you're grabbing your head and like, what am I doing?
Dude, you have to be answerable, right? You have to actually be answerable and then have to face that person when you get home as well. It's like, shit, how do? I just argued and I was proven wrong. And now I have to go home and be in the same bed. But then, of course, it also comes with reward, right? When you hit big milestone, you still go to bed with the same woman. And so, I mean.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
pretty amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.